Good morning, students. In continuation of analytical chemistry, in this session we are going to discuss about paper chromatography. In this technique, we are going to discuss about the principle of paper chromatography, types of paper chromatography, applications, and significance of RF value. What is paper chromatography? This is again a separation technique in which isolation, identification and quantitation of an unknown substance is carried out on specially designed filter paper. Keep it in mind, we are going to use a filter paper in this paper chromatography. It can be used for the analysis of organic and inorganic compounds. This technique was first invented by A.J.P. Martin in 1910. What is principle of paper chromatography? This is a type of partition chromatography in which the substance are distributed between two liquids, that is a stationary liquid which is held in the fibers of the filter paper, and another one is a moving liquid, that is a mobile phase. The stationary liquid is called as stationary phase and the moving liquid, here it is named as mobile phase, are developing solvent. The components of the mixture migrate with different rates, which is the basis for their separation. The separation can be observed as spots at different position on filter paper. What is retention factor or RF value or migration factor? This is also called as retardation factor. The movement of a component relative to the solvents, because we are using a solvent as a mobile phase, so relative to that solvent is expressed in terms of retention factor or RF value. Let us see the picture here. We have spotted a mixture of compounds at the bottom of the paper and it moves up to length of A, that is a spot which is appeared here, and the solvent is moved up to length of B. This is defined as, again, distance travelled by the component, that is length of A, and the distance travelled by the solvent, or it is also called as solvent front and the ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So how we can calculate this RF value? This can be calculated by the length of A, that is a distance travelled by the component, by the length of B, that is distance travelled by the solvent. So by this method we can calculate the retention factor or retardation factor. RF value is dependent on some of the factors. Nature of the mixture, which type of mixture you are going to take for the separation, and the temperature, at which temperature you are operated this technique, and the purity of the solvents. It also depends upon the purity of the solvents, and quality of a filter paper. It also depends. Different quality of paper are available. For that, this technique depends on quality of paper in which you are going to take for the separation of a mixture of components. Size of the vessel in which the operation is carried out, that is the size of the beaker, and the method of drying and development. After the movement of a solvent as well as the components through the filter paper, we have to dry that filter paper. It also depends on that drying and development, and the pH of the solutions, etc. Coming to the mechanism of paper chromatography, it's important. The operation of paper chromatography involves the following steps. The first step is preparation of paper. This is the first step in which the paper is cut into desired shape and size depending on upon the type of analysis. This is a first step. A horizontal line is drawn on the paper at the bottom with the help of a pencil at a distance of 0.5 to 1 centimeter from the bottom. The line is marked with points at a distance of around 1 to 2 centimeter from each other. Next step, preparation of solution. The sample is prepared by dissolving a solid sample in a pure solvent. The liquid samples can be applied directly on the filter paper where we have marked. Here the biological samples are applied as their extracts and the liquid samples can be applied directly. Coming to the third step, the application of sample. The sample can be applied by dropping a solution as a small spot on the horizon drawn on the filter paper. The spot can be made with the help of a capillary tube or by using a micropipette so that a low concentration can be spotted. If we use a capillary means low concentration can be applied to avoid the larger zone. It may spread if we use a other type of material to spot on the filter paper. The spot is dried and is placed in the developing chamber. This is a developing chamber. Okay. Next step is a development of chromatogram. The paper with sample spot is placed and the chromatographic chamber contains developing solvent. See, we have taken a solvent in at the bottom. We can see the solvent at the bottom of the developing chamber, and the lower edge of the paper is dipped in the solvent in such a way that spot does not dip in the solvent. That spot should not be dipped in that solvent. So we should keep while dipping the paper in a mobile solvent. Allow the solvent to rise up to 2 to 3rd of the paper height. The filter paper absorbs the developing solvent through its capillary action. The variable mobility of different components in the solvent system separates the components. When solvent travels to a suitable length, the paper is removed. Next step is drying of chromatograph. After removing the paper from the chromatographic chamber, the chromatogram is removed from the chamber, that is, and position of the solvent front is marked. The position of the solvent front is marked. Solvent front means the mobile phase which is moved through capillary action from the bottom to some certain length in the filter paper, that has to be marked. The chromatogram is dried by cold or hot air treatment depending upon the volatility of the developing solvent. Next step is detection of the chromatogram. The paper chromatograms are detected visually. We can visually detect it. If the components are colored, okay, the spot can be visualized very easily. If the components are colored means we can visualize very easily. However, the colorless components are detected by using some other techniques by that is a physical or chemical methods. Coming to the types of chromatography, we have 4 types in this paper chromatography. The first one is ascending development. The ascending technique is done by allowing the solvent to move up against the gravity through a capillary action. Here The lower edge of the paper is dipped in the solvent in such a way that the spot does not dip in the solvent. Both the sample as well as the mobile face are a developing solvent move in the upward direction. That means ascending, upward direction. So we can observe this picture. In this we have taken a mobile phase or a solvent at the bottom of the chamber, and this is a TLC plate, and we have marked a sample on the filter paper, and the movement of, we can also observe the movement of the solvent as well as the spots. Descending development. In this case of descending development, the downward movement of the solvent as well as the spot takes place. The solvent is kept at the top. You can see the solvent is kept at the top. The paper is marked with the sample spot at the upper edge. The developing solvent is delivered from the top and it flows down. You can observe a solvent tank cover, that is a developing solvent is placed, and the paper is fixed on a paper support, and the spot is marked at the upper edge, and the developing solvent is delivered from the top and it flows down. Therefore, it is called as descending chromatography because the solvent is flows down here. This technique involves the movement of solvent under gravity, so it is fast as compared to the ascending technique. Next one is ascending descending development. It is nothing but a hybrid of both ascending and descending chromatography. Here, upper part of the ascending chromatography can be folded over a glass rod, allowing the descending development after crossing the glass. Therefore, ascending development is followed by descending development, which increases the length of the run so that we can separate the components by making use of this ascending and descending development variable. And the fourth one, radial or circular paper chromatography. This method employs a circular filter paper. Okay, we are going to take a circular filter paper. The sample is placed at the center of the filter paper and it has to be dried. On the filter paper, circular filter paper, we have to place a sample at the center and it has to be dried. The paper is placed horizontally on a petri dish. We can see the petri dish here, and we have to place the paper horizontally on that petri dish. And this petri dish containing a solvent. It can act as a mobile phase. A wick of the paper is dipped in that mobile phase or a solvent, okay, and that solvent moves upwards through this wick, okay. The solvent is move upwards through this wick, resulting in the separation of components in the form of concentric circular rings or spots. You can observe here the circular ring on the filter paper. So that by making use of this circular paper chromatography, we can separate a mixture of components into their individual one. Coming to the application of paper chromatography. This technique is used in quantitative analysis of organic, inorganic and biochemical compounds, and this technique is used in checking other separation methods and purification process. Example, a small amount of purified component is obtained by distillation, can be tested by using this chromatography, paper chromatography technique. This technique is also used in separation of sugars and amino acids. and it is used for the separation of complex mixture of drugs, metal ions, dyes, etc. In the separation of mixture of carbohydrates, vitamin, antibiotics, proteins, etc. In this case also we are using this paper chromatography. Coming to the one more important application of this paper chromatography is a separation of amino acids. This is important. And in this technique, in this method of separation of amino acids, an aqueous solution of mixture of amino acid is prepared. Amino acids is dissolved in a suitable solvent so that the mixture of amino acids is prepared. It is placed at one point on the paper. It's placed on one point on the paper. The standard solution of other pure components, amino acids present in that mixture, are placed at the remaining point. Keeping the filter paper in vertical position, its lower end is dipped in the eluting solvent. The eluting solvent may be ethanol water mixture. Okay. The solvent will start rising by capillary action. When the solvent has risen to sufficient height, the filter paper is removed and it is then dried and sprayed with a solution of ninhydrin. Sprayed with a solution of ninhydrin. Why we are using this ninhydrin means by making use of this ninhydrin, the spots will visible. The spots will visible. For that reason, we are using a ninhydrin solution here. The number of spots obtained on the filter paper at different heights gives the number of components in the mixture. From this, the RF value for each spot is calculated. Later, by comparing the RF value of these components with the standard RF value of known amino acids, the identity of amino acids in a mixture can be easily revealed. So by this method, we can separate a amino acids, mixture of amino acids into individual ones. Coming to the revision of this session, in this session we have discussed paper chromatography, and this we have discussed some introduction, principle of paper chromatography, retention factor. What is retention factor? This is nothing but a ratio of solvent front and the solute, factors affecting the RF value, mechanism of paper chromatography, types of paper chromatography. We have seen 4 types: ascending development, descending development, ascending descending development, and the radial paper chromatography. And we have also discussed applications of paper chromatography, and in this separation of amino acids also we have discussed. These are the references I have referred for this paper chromatography. Thank you.